It's
Yep,
time to
another
talk
time.
about the college and how last year UNC knocked out Coach K.
Oh my
Ended
god, that
his
was so bad.
career. But yeah, we'll
You
talk
guys
about this year.
And,
My
and where
UNC
where are both
sucks.
and where are both of them now, bro? Where are both of them now?
hey,
We're
we're
holding on
higher.
for dear
Hey,
life.
we're higher than UNC.
We're
That's all
holding
that
on for
matters.
dear life.
Yeah, bro. Percentage points better than UNC.
Hey, so just give it a heads up.
We're not
This year,
UW.
I'll start it off. This year, college basketball, man, it is so up for grabs. There's no dominant team. There's no number one seed that can be a number one seed more than a week. Because somehow, some way, as soon as they become the number one seed, they lose. Um, you got Purdue that looked like they were strong, but I don't know, man. You got this Indiana team that can play. You got the Big Ten is very healthy. ACC, Pittsburgh leading the conference. Who would have thought that? They just keep on going. What do you think, Jameis?
Well, I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier. This year is just so different in the sense that we don't have the normal standout powers like we're used to seeing. And you did say like you really think it's a year where you could truly see it being anybody. And obviously that is college basketball, that's March Madness. But to that point, yeah, you don't have the normal Kentucky or a Villanova, right? Villanova had won what 2 years in the last 6 years, whatever 5 years it was, and they're really
And wasn't
down.
it 3 times?
Three
Didn't they
times,
win back to back? Didn't they
Who?
win back to back?
and then they had what another one like what 2 years later. Alan was that
Yeah,
what
I
it was?
think it was 2 years
No,
later.
no,
It was
no.
either
Villanova.
it was
Villanova
either
Remember that
won.
one? KJ remembers that one.
Shut up.
Remember the one?
Oh yeah, that's the shot.
Hold
So,
on one
anyways,
second.
yeah. To that point, the best power team lately, Villanova, they're down. You can go to North Carolina, which is an interesting stat. So North Carolina, if you guys didn't know, is the first preseason team ever to potentially miss the NCAA tournament altogether. And this is a year that they're actually extending the tournament in itself. So they were preseason number one, and now they're one of four teams out of the tournament as we speak. So North Carolina struggled mightily. Duke with a new coach. I know they were sixth in the ACC as of last week. But like, look no further than Louisville, for example. They're three in I think 23 or 24. They're heavily struggling. They had a guy, Kenny Payne from Kentucky. Alan, you're probably familiar with Kenny Payne. Won a championship with Louisville in
yeah.
'85. He's actually a homegrown guy for Louisville. He was with Kentucky for a while, their main assistant, and he and their program is absolutely struggling. They're awful this season. So it's just been
Yeah.
a
They're at the
situation for
bottom of the conference, 2-15, 4-24 overall. They got a
Syracuse.
143 percentage points. 143.
Yeah,
Back to what you
very
guys were
good.
saying. It was
That's not very good.
Duke who beat Wisconsin, and then Villanova got their championship, and then North Carolina beat Gonzaga, and then Villanova beat Michigan. So they had two championships.
Was only two. Okay.
Yeah, two in
It
three
Yes.
was
years.
two,
Yeah, 2 and
two and
3 years. That's
three
what.
years. Okay.
So,
Okay.
but that, so then, but yeah. So, anyways, you go to Syracuse, right? One of their main rivals. Syracuse has actually been pretty down the last few seasons. Jim Boeheim, it seems like the game has kind of passed him. You don't see a lot of coaches going with the zone. He's obviously a main zone guy.
Well, yeah, and he's playing all of his kids too, though, bro. I mean, that's his biggest problem right there. He's playing all of his kids.
Yeah, it hasn't been very good for him at all. And so now all
No.
of a sudden you have these football schools like Alabama, and there's obviously an elephant in the room with that team we'll talk about in a second. You have a team like a football team that's a power now. That's one of the best teams. You have a team like Tennessee that's traditionally a football school being a power school. A team like
Miami,
Kentucky,
University of Miami.
they're good.
Yeah,
You have a team,
Miami and Pittsburgh are 1-2 in the ACC.
right?
When's the last time
TCU,
Pittsburgh was a power?
TCU's ranked 24th right now.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But yeah, and so at the end of the day, there's a lot of like Kentucky, for example, they're not as good as they've been in the past. They're a basketball school. And then unfortunately in the Pac-12, right, guys, we've seen it unfortunately the last 5-10 years now, 15 years, really longer than that. Pac-12 school sounds like our Pac-12 is going to be another two-team league, and UCLA is going to be leaving the conference next season.
Yeah, next season.
Really only have Arizona, but you just have Arizona, UCLA. You obviously have Gonzaga from the West. You have St. Mary's, who's been pretty good as well. But yeah, so I'll just say it's just crazy this season, having all these normal powers being so down this season. So yeah, to that point of effort early on, it really could be anybody's year this year. It's going to be exciting.
About
For
you,
me,
KJ?
Huh?
That.
Go with KJ.
No doubt about that.
Me personally, I really don't. I don't follow much college basketball. I tried to a little bit more this year. I always follow it during March Madness, but for me, it just seems like the reason why a lot of these high-profile schools are going down is because of um, like TV and social media. All these other teams are able to get more exposure, and all these big names. You can go to a Kansas State where you're going to be the star player, and you don't have to worry about four other NBA prospects, and still get the exposure of those NBA prospects and get to a get drafted in the lottery and change your life forever. Um, I'm looking at it right now. I haven't heard. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I haven't heard San Diego State be top 25 in a few years, right?
No, they're
Yeah.
top 25. They just
No.
haven't made it past the top 10.
Or even like I love.
McDaniels, effort, right?
I have,
That's Jalen McDaniels, I believe, his years. I
Yeah.
want to say.
yeah, I have three teams that I love in college, and that's UNC. That's my number one, and then I like Syracuse and Marquette. And I've never seen Marquette stay in a top 25 this long as they have in a long time.
That is very.
I haven't seen them stay. They've been in there, Amos. I've never seen them stay in it consistently. They're 10th
No,
right
I mean,
now.
maybe they've been down the last couple of years, but you got to remember they also lost. What was his name? Efren Buzz White was that his last name? Buzz something White, I think. I want to say. Who was a
coach? They got a
what's
new
up?
coach. They got the new coach from VC
Right.
to CU.
And they haven't been for sure. I'm just saying though, it hasn't been that long, right? And I'm saying like as of like 4 or 5 years ago though, they were still a perennial tournament team who was always hovering 25. So it may be the last couple of years, KJ, but Marquette's usually is really good. I mean, your boy, what KJ? Oh, you know this, Jimmy Butler.
Oh,
They have. Yeah, I'm just saying, like they had so many guys during that time, right? That have just been, what's his name, Novik, shooter. So yeah, they have a lot of guys, man. But yeah.
But yeah, for me, like I said, I don't really watch that much, but I know like the one thing I know for sure is that every time you're gonna get Gonzaga with a nice record, and then when they get into March Madness, they're gonna face some real teams that aren't in their conference, and then they're gonna get demolished.
Let me say something about that this year, KJ, and we always talk about that because we have a couple of friends that are Gonzaga fans, and want to know something. This year's the first year they actually struggled in their own conference.
They're in second place behind St. Mary's right now.
Yeah,
so
yes, they are. They're not winning. They lost 3 games. I think they've lost 2 games. I think they got swept this year by St. Mary's already.
By St. Mary's. The only St. Mary's loss was to Santa Clara.
I'm looking at the top 25, and they're Gonzaga's 12, St. Mary's is 15, and they both only have 5 losses. But it's probably the difference in conference loss.
Yeah, because they played a lot of good teams.
14-1 to 13-2.
Yeah, and if you look at it, Gonzaga, I see them going far again. I just don't, like everybody says, I just don't. I can't see them winning the big game.
What round did they go out last year?
Huh?
What round did they go out last year?
They made it to the Final Four.
Final Four?
They made it to the Final Four?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did. They lost to Kansas.
Wasn't that the year before?
Or was it no, they made it to the championship against when they lost to Baylor. That
was 2 years ago, though.
That was 2 years ago, though, Efren.
Yeah. Last year who they played, so they only made it to Sweet 16?
I thought
I'm looking at it right now.
I thought it was like second round or Sweet 16, KJ. Wasn't it?
They lost. I'm trying to find a good one. Okay. Gonzaga lost. Oh, they lost in the 3rd round to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Sweet 16. Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, yeah.
Sweet 16. Oh, no, Elite 8. Elite 8.
Elite 8, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, this is not last year. This is when. No, this was last year. Yeah, they lost to. Are you sure that's Elite 8?
Yeah, because.
No, that's Sweet 16.
Kansas Villanova.
Round 3 is Sweet 16.
UNC Duke was the Final Four.
Yeah, they were Sweet 16.
Yeah, round 3 is Sweet 16.
Yeah, so they lost to Arkansas, and they lost by 6. But, yeah, like I said, I don't know much.
No, but you're right. I appreciate your honesty about college basketball and the teams you're talking about. They are great. Are great teams that are playing in in good conferences. All those teams play in great conferences. What about you, Alan? What are you thinking about college right now?
Well, you guys are all bringing up, the elite teams of the past, and I'll be honest with you, my school is right there. UCLA is playing better than pretty much everybody, other than maybe Houston and Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as those legacy teams, it seems like UCLA and Kansas are the only ones. Everybody else is, pretty much upstarts. Although Houston was in the Elite Eight last year. I think that they've probably been the cream of the crop this year so far up to this point. I mean, they're 25-2. They haven't had any back-to-back losses.
It's a good thing they have proven that you can make runs. I watched you see.
But you got to take into consideration the conference that they play in too. So I think that when you start looking at the top 25, you got to think about Alabama plays in the SEC, which is a strong conference. Kansas plays in the Big 12, Big 10, Big 12, whatever it is. And they've always dominated that conference, and they've always been an elite team. You got UCLA. Purdue has played well over the last decade, and they've been off and on over the last 25 years, maybe. You got Virginia. You got to take into consideration they won a title, 5 years ago? 4 years ago. 5 years ago. And so.
Hi, Morgan.
Yeah, so I think it really is up for grabs this year. As far as I don't see, any lower seeded team in the March Madness that's gonna be in the Final Four or play in the championship game, but they could end up in the Elite Eight. I mean, it could be another team like last year. Who was it last year?
The Cinderella team.
Yeah, what was the Cinderella team last year?
Not Chicago.
That was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago. There was another team out of New York, out of New Jersey. What was that team?
New Jersey.
Peacock.
Bonnet. How you say it? It's like a B-O-N, Alan, right?
St. Peter's. St. Peter's was last year.
St. Pete's. Yeah, St. Pete's.
Peacocks.
Yeah, they played. They went to the Sweet 16, didn't they? They knocked off number 1 seed after the first round, didn't they?
Yeah,
no, they knocked off Kentucky, which was the 2 seed, Murray State, the 7th seed.
That was in the first round.
Yeah, and then Purdue, the 3rd seed.
Oh, Purdue was the 3rd seed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Baylor was the 1 seed, and they lost to North Carolina in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I don't really see any of those teams. Although like you said, St. Mary's is playing really well. San Diego State is leading the Mountain West. Is it the Mountain West that they play in? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they play the Mountain West right now.
Yeah, San Diego is leading, and they're always a team to contend with, but they seem to, get knocked off in the 2nd round pretty much most of the time. So, I see, the teams that are in the top 5 are probably going to be the teams that are, one of those teams is going to come out on top when it's all said and done.
And like I said this year, I like how it's up for grabs. I have seen a lot of the outside teams. There's a team in Chattanooga that people are really not talking about that can shoot the 3 like there's nothing. But like you said, we gotta wait till this extension of the tournament. Hopefully next week when we come back, we know a little bit more about we can talk about the conference and stuff or the March Madness because it is coming up, and I feel like we'll know more. We can see how good each team can be. You understand what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. I feel like you're right. A lot of the top 5 conferences, the Power 5, there's a lot of teams out of there that can win it. So,
well, to that point about Chattanooga too. I mean, that's the game once you get into the tournament, especially for the smaller schools. It's all about the 3 ball. And a lot of times they can compete with the bigger schools who are more athletic than them and bigger because they literally can just shoot the ball and they can shoot it pretty well. So Chattanooga, if they're a really good 3-ball team, they're going to need those 3 balls to be successful. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I know we'll all probably be filling some brackets. KJ, are you? What do you
I
think,
think
KJ?
we should do one on. We should actually have a features podcast that we actually do a bracket, each one of us.
Do a
Yeah, I
live.
figured that's what we do.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
So,
That
like,
could be,
Well,
I think Mr.
that
Warner
could be
talked
one of
about-
the. That could be one of the like the first one we do at the new location that we decided.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
we get it all set
Yeah.
up by then.